Hello and welcome to Pesto Comics Audio Edition. It's something a little different, but also kind of the same. I used to do the audio entries for about a year before I really got into the video side of things. And if I'm being entirely honest, doing the video version of things has really changed the way this newsletter is written. I really try to be a lot more tight, a lot more deliberate with what I'm saying, so much so that I'm actually back to reading when I do my videos and always trying to make sure that I'm really on point and trying to keep the video as tight and as quick as possible. I really just want to make my point, show a few cool visuals, and get out of there. There's a few challenges with that, especially when it comes to editing. With the audio, I could be a lot more liberal about where I make my cuts. That means I could be a lot more freeform when I'm talking like I am now. So all of this is just preamble to say that I'm doing something a little new, that we're going to still have videos every other week, and in the weeks in between, I'll do these audio podcasts. One thing I've been doing for a long time is I take the audio of me kind of freeform talking, I take the transcript, and then I clean that up and throw that as the actual written post. And that probably won't change both for the video and the audio. But just know that you're still going to get content every week because if I'm being honest with myself, I really miss being out there and having the conversation with you guys. Nothing makes me happier than when you guys are in the comments, letting me know what you think about things, how you feel about all of it. And just being able to share everything that's going on right now, especially with everything that's happening with Pesto Comics nowadays. Now, if you're a stalwart Pesto Comics fan, you know that we launched Snip yesterday, and this is not just another campaign. This is the first time that we've tried launching 2 issues at the same time. Though we technically did it with From Parts Unknown #4, as that was 2 issues that we combined into one book. This is actually 2 completely separate issues, 2 books that will be shipped to you individually, that you'll have 2 separate bags and boards for, 2 totally different chapters of this story, not just mashed together, but actually definitively separate. Now, you might be asking, with the direct market and From Parts Unknown coming in April, what is the plan with Snip? Why are we still going all in with Kickstarter? And really, the goal is to kind of hit both markets. One thing I've learned very clearly is that the folks that back things on Kickstarter aren't always the folks that go to stores. Sometimes you get people who do both. I'm one that does both. I have my pull list at actually 2 different comic shops. I have one locally and I have one a little bit out of town because I have accounts with both and I get certain books from one and certain books from the other. I try to spread the wealth. But the truth is, yeah, I'm still going to stores and picking up my weekly pulls. I also subscribe to digital services like Shonen Jump and Global Comics and DC Universe Infinite Ultra. So I'm reading the books as much as I can. I'm falling behind, if I'm being entirely honest. And I'm always at the library picking up trades and things to pick up those books that I haven't read that I'm a decade behind on. So I'm very much trying to keep up with everything comics as much as possible. But in doing that, I do know there's people who only do Kickstarter. I do know there's people who only go to the store. I'm trying to reach everyone. So what we're doing with Snip is you are getting a special preview. This is for the big fans. This is for the people who love Pesto Comics, who want the exclusive covers, who want the things that you'll never be able to pick up in a store. These comics are low print run, right? So they're going to be digitally printed. When they're digitally printed, you get a little bit higher of like a resolution, for the lack of a better term. When you're printing at high volumes, you're doing offset printing. So it's old school printing press style. I mean, it's not so different, but digital printing, it's pinpoint, right? Like it's going to be a little bit better. The paper quality also just a little bit better, right? So you're getting something that's a little more premium. And don't get me wrong, the price kind of reflects that because the print runs are so low. The cost of creating these comics ends up being a lot higher. That said, your support on these books is what makes us getting to the direct market even possible. So I feel like everything I'm saying now, I've said in some form or another. If you follow me on socials, I have all these little shorts coming out explaining all of this. The past couple of videos have kind of gotten into all of this. So why am I here today? Why am I just repeating myself? That's not really the point. I want to talk about, it's day 2 of our campaign for Snip. As I look at it, we have 55 backers. We're just above $1,900 in Canadian dollars in support. So it's doing well. Is it doing incredible? Is it doing Naked Kaiju Woman numbers? Absolutely not. The Naked Kaiju Woman would have crossed this within the first hour. Mind you, totally different book. That's a Kickstarter exclusive book as well. So it's like you get it then, and that's the only place you can get it because we can't have the Naked Lady book on store shelves, obviously. But also it just has a huge fan base. Again, Naked Kaiju Woman kind of explains itself as to why that's the case. And fortunately, I will say, as an aside, I appreciate all of the wonderful comments I've received about that book, that people who've read it and said, you know what, I thought this was just going to be a booby book, and it ended up being a lot of fun in the terms of like how deep it was and the character and the fact that people actually care about what happens to Claire and everyone in that universe. It really does mean a lot that the stories are resonating just as much as the frivolity of it all, which is, we're all just having fun, but I'm glad you're getting something more out of it other than just, some dirty drawings from Raphael, who's, don't get me wrong, really good at those dirty drawings as well. So I do appreciate that. So back to the point, where day 2, this campaign's landing right in the middle, and it has me reflecting on it. I'm not expecting it to have the same level of success as Naked Kaiju Woman. That would be very unrealistic. That's an outlier as far as Kickstarter campaigns go. So if I'm just comparing apples to other campaigns, I should be very happy with Snip, right? Don't look at Naked Kaiju Woman. This is the best performing Kickstarter we've had for a new series, right? For a kickoff, this is the best one. If we're looking at all the issues of every book, from Parts Unknown number 4 is outpacing this book just a bit, right? And we can compare the double issue to the 2-issue launch here. It's just a little bit ahead in terms of how we were doing. The pace for From Parts Unknown number 4 was a little bit higher. When we were at this stage, we were at about 80 backers and $2,500 Canadian. So we're about 600 behind and 25 backers behind when we're talking about Snip. But again, that was an issue 4. That had a lot of build up to it. I was also better about doing ads and really getting the word out there. I wasn't muddying the waters, talking about 2 different things like I am now, where I have the Kickstarter campaign and I have From Parts Unknown in stores. So I'm always pushing 2 different things at the same time. There's a lot of reasons why this maybe isn't doing as well as that, but it's still doing very well. Like, I have perspective on it. And I think that's the key point. That's the thing I wanted to talk about, is trying to maintain some perspective when you're looking at things, right? So I always set a Kickstarter goal a little bit modest. I keep it a round number, right? So this one was $1,000. We crossed that within a couple hours. So I'm thrilled about that. The fact that we were able to just get it to cross the line, like, this campaign is happening now, like, the book is going to be made. I had very little doubt that that was going to happen, but the fact that it happened so quickly, always very comforting, and it makes me feel really good about all that. So I'm very happy with that. And that's a good perspective to have, that, like, maybe I set the bar low, but I've been able to achieve that, even though the bar was relatively low. But that I have a hope in mind that maybe this would grow a lot faster than it has been. Maybe it wouldn't need the big push that I now see that I'm going to have to give it in order to get more eyes on it. Yeah, I was hoping it would kind of be a self-starter. People would see it and just jump on board. Now, I had a preview of that with the pre-launch followers. We just cracked about 60 or so. And really, you shouldn't even launch before you hit 100 pre-launch followers. But I have a schedule to maintain. Now with the direct market, we got to feed the direct market and get books out there. So I launched with what we had. And fortunately, the people that did follow before the campaign ended up backing. So we're in good shape. And again, there's still 28 days in this campaign to go. There's a lot of movement that can happen between now and then. What I really need here is some help from the Kickstarter algorithm. I got to start showing up in people's feeds. So I'm really going to see what I can tweak, see what I can update and change to get more people and more eyes on this campaign. So more to come on that. We'll see. I'll be doing a lot more experimenting than I usually do. But knowing that this campaign is funded and we're going to get these books out into the world, they will exist in this form before we ever get to that direct market side of things, is a huge relief. Like, I'm very happy that we're at this stage. So what am I doing for my mental health in all of this? Usually I just have the campaign open on one of my many screens on my desktop and I watch the numbers roll in. And when it's a campaign like Naked Kaiju Woman and the numbers are rolling in, it's wonderful. It's fun. It's like a slot machine. However, when it's static for large portions of the day like it is now, it becomes a little bit stressful. And I feel this urge to push it along and to do more. But now I have this safety net in the background. The Kickstarter is here solely to get the production covered, right? From a business standpoint, now I know that the Kickstarter is really more of a safety net than anything. It's for me to cover as much of the production as possible. It's for me to get Ricardo and JP paid so that when we get to the direct market, I can focus on getting the book in more hands. I'm not worried about paying myself so much right now. It's a goal and a hope for the future. I've talked about my 100-week plan last week, that now it's 99 weeks, that by the end of these 99 weeks, I'm in a position that I could really make a decision about my day job. But we're 99 weeks away. I'm not stressing it. I have a lot of time to make all of this work. So what can you take from all of this? It's really all about framing. It's about looking at things with a certain perspective, gives yourself a bit of a break. I could be really upset about this campaign and complain that it's not rolling the way I want it to. I want it to be past 100 backers by now. I want it to cover all the production costs in the first couple days. I just wanted this campaign to absolutely break every record I've ever had. Is that a realistic thing? No. And was I actually expecting that? No. But is there a small, faint hope in the back of my mind that I would hit hit the lottery with this one? Of course, there is every time. But I'm framing it realistically. This is a stepping stone towards something bigger. This is a stepping stone to getting this book out to more readers. This is a stepping stone to getting it into the direct market and getting it to even more hands. The whole point of all of this is to build and build. This is just one brick of many. So if you have your own goals, if you have your own things you're trying to achieve, and you're just not quite getting as far as you had hoped, as quickly as you had hoped, just know that that's okay. That's part of it. That you're slowly building towards something bigger. And if you're just a fan, just know that any support you give is huge. And if you're a fan and you don't have projects of your own that you're working on, and all this is falling on deaf ears, and you're just here because you like the stuff we're doing, just know that even the tiniest of support, even if you just got the issue 1 only tier that I made for those folks that don't want to buy 2 issues up front, know that I appreciate you and the support that you've given, and the fact that you've even done that you've parted with any of your money and taken a risk on a relative unknown. It absolutely means the world. For those of you that are there every time, those of you that were there for the pre-launch, that have backed every Pesto Comics campaign to date, that are using those discount codes that I share. If you're a previous backer, check your email. I gave out discount codes for people who have backed previous campaigns. Know that I really appreciate you guys too. Again, knowing that I can hit the launch button and I can get things funded relatively quickly because you guys want to see the latest thing that we have coming out. And I say we as in all of these amazing artists I work with. You know, I've worked with JP half a dozen times now. I worked with Ricardo a bunch. He was there with the very first project with Unlimited Udo, and now we're finally getting to something bigger together. Just know that you guys being able to support with every campaign, it's absolutely humbling to know that you guys are willing to support as much as you can. I really, really do appreciate it. And I know financially speaking, things can be tough at times. We're always seem to be in a downturn. But, you know, just like the way comics are dying, they've been dying since forever. There's never a good time. And I feel like that's the truth with the economy too now, that, you know, the economy's never in a good state. So I appreciate you guys taking the dollars that you've earned and putting them towards some amazing comics so that I can keep getting amazing artists working and get more stories together. With all this, I want to thank you for being here. It was a bit more rambly than I intended, but the whole point is I just wanted an opportunity to speak a little more freely. You know, I still do that in the epilogue with the videos, but I find with the audio, I'm a lot more free to just kind of say what's on my mind. I come in with an idea of what I want to talk about, but I ramble on. Tell me if this is something you're enjoying or if it's something that you don't need. I'm more than happy to stop this as well. If you're like, hey man, I don't need to listen to you ramble every couple of weeks. Just stick to the really edited, formatted videos. That's cool too. I won't take offense. I just want to know, you know, I hope this is resonating. I hope this is good for you guys. I'm going to try to come back with some more clear topics of what I'm going to be talking about when I do these audio ones, but I still think doing them a little more loose, just having a conversation with you, you know, it's just you and me chilling by the campfire and I'm telling you what's going on. So I hope you guys are enjoying this and let me know. Either way, please talk to me in the comments. I get lonely sometimes sitting in the basement here alone. I got Oliver keeping me company. He's being quiet, but he's probably waiting for some kind of food. But with that, I want to thank you for being here. I'll be back next week with a video, but if you haven't checked out Snip, please check it out. If you backed any of the previous Kickstarter campaigns, go check your email, check the campaign updates. There's a code in there. There's a link for you to get the secret reward that gives you a discount. If you haven't backed before, there's still an early bird. I'll send you a copy of Crazy Latte thing called Love as well. So deals for everyone. So if you haven't checked out Snip, please do that. And if you haven't been to your comic book shop lately, let them know that you want From Parts Unknown. Even if you've backed From Parts Unknown, know that From Parts Unknown #1 in the direct market is slightly different. I've refined it. It's like a director's cut. I've updated a few things. There's a bit more dialogue. The balloons are refined. Just know that I've updated it. And there's going to be some cool surprises that I'm going to talk about in the near future as well in that book. So please don't miss out. Get From Parts Unknown from your store. Get Snip from Kickstarter. And keep reading your Pesto comics. But not just Pesto comics. Read all the comics. There's so many cool indie comics out there. And there's some cool stuff from the big two. So comics are great. You guys are great. I love all of it. Thanks for being here. We'll talk again next week. Thanks, guys.